We'd love to get your feedback on the show. Or if you have any upcoming events in your faith community, please contact Doug Croden by emailing doug@anchorvideo.com or calling 519-685-8982. If you'd like to view any of our past programs, check out the video archives at lifeandfaith.ca. Once again, the London Public Library was the host for Abraham's Cafe, a panel discussion between 3 Abrahamic faith groups. Today's topic, Spiritual Reasoning, a comparison of like passages taken from the holy books representing each individual faith group. Let's listen in.
In the lines for our study, Jonah declares, in language drawn from Exodus 34, that the reason he fled to Tarshish in the first place was that he feared God would respond to the Ninevites with the same mercy and compassion that God displays toward his covenant people. Jonah declares that he would rather die than live. Why? Why does the prophet desire for death to come so quickly after his affirmation of God's abiding mercy and compassion?
Thank you, Daniel. The New Testament passage, Luke, chapter 11, verses 29 to 36. This section of Luke follows an accusation by Jesus' opponents that his exorcisms were being accomplished through collusion with the powers of evil. Jesus refutes that accusation, but does not address the demand for a sign from heaven, 11:16, which would authenticate his activities and his message, until here in 11:29-36. Jesus indicates that the demand for a sign is evidence of the evilness of this generation, and states that the only sign that this generation will receive is, quote, the sign of Jonah, 11:29.
Surah 68, as Jaman mentioned, is called the pen and deals with accusations that the prophet was not God's messenger, but also that he was mad. The passages in the same surah also talk about how divine judgment will be swift and sure upon the arrogant, not only in this life, but also in the hereafter. Penitence and regret can come too late, for God does not deal in the same way with the faithful as with the incalcitrant. The prophet is to leave to the divine will those who reject his message, although there is respite for a time. My subtle scheme to bring them to judgment is exceedingly firm, is one of the passages in this surah.
I was very pleased to see that, the Christian text, which I'd never read before, and I was pleased because I think it brings the whole question to a point, which is, what is the sign that Jonah's supposed to be? And for me, it just kind of crystallized the question I had, which is, why is this text there in the first place in the Jewish text? What's the point of Jonah? What's he doing for us? The guy is really a kind of anti-hero, right? He's told to go and prophesy to these people. Some of you may know the whole text. If you don't, very quickly, he refuses at first. He doesn't want to go. And then, he does everything possible not to go. And then when he finally does go and they repent, he's upset that they've repented because he was hoping God was going to destroy them. I mean, what kind of guy is this, right? And so I think the question raised by the Christian text is exactly the question. Well, what's the point of this guy? Like, what is he supposed to represent? And if he's supposed to represent the Christ, then that, if you look back at the Jewish text, is that what Christ's supposed to be? A guy like Jonah?
I find it puzzling that in the Tanakh, and also in the book of Jonah itself, he knows that God is compassionate and gracious and slow to anger, patient, abounding in kindness, and yet he doesn't seem to take that to himself either. That he doesn't expect that of God for him.
I think the Quranic discourse with Jonah and actually all the prophets is they would have loved for all their people to believe, and so we would disagree with those accounts that he was upset after they believed. Mm-hmm. Our view is that he was upset because he couldn't bear their kind of their refusal, so he left in anger.
Oh.
So he didn't fulfill the mission as it was kind of laid out. Mm-hmm. And then in the belly of the fish, he repents, and God, puts him back with the people, and they believe. Yeah.
So his anger is before rather than after in your texts.
Yeah.
Before, sorry, could you, I didn't quite
Sorry,
understand
so
that.
the anger was that he didn't fulfill the mission. Like he got
first
angry
time.
the first time.
Uh-huh.
So he left in anger.
Okay.
Like he couldn't bear the harm of the people in delivering the message, so he left, and then that was obviously the wrong choice.
There's a practical implication to that, in that we all have our own personal missions and messages, or whatever it might be, in our own lives. And if we're not feeling as if we're achieving that or accomplishing it at first instance, maybe patience is what's needed.
So the people are saying, did Jesus give us a plan? And he's saying no.
No, right. He's saying all you have is the call. I mean, I like the way Alistair said it. All you have is the call to do something, do the right thing, right? But don't do it the way I did it, Don't copy me, don't follow me. This is not a dogma. This is not a particular way. And Jonah's the perfect character for that, because the last thing you'd want to do is be like Jonah.
See, I see more than just Jonah, though, in answering your question, Bill, because it's talking about the people of Nineveh, how they rose up, right? They repented, and something greater than Jonah's here. And it also talks about how the people of Nineveh will rise up with this generation. In other words, the Jewish people of Jerusalem at the time of Jesus, and rise up with the people of Nineveh to condemn that generation. How? Why? How does this work? How do we have people who are separated by hundreds of years jointly condemning a generation that's there 2,000 years ago?
Anyone like to take that?
Well, by taking responsibility, by taking up the call.
I think I see it in a different way, though, Greg.
No, I know you do.
You also have to consider the time and day that we're talking about. I mean, Nineveh is modern-day Mosul, which is in Iraq right now. And these people were known predominantly for their idol worship and whatnot.
Right.
And Jonah constantly went there, and he told them, if you continue in this manner, you're going to be like the people of Ad, the people of Lut, the people of such and such. He constantly gave them these signs or these historical stories. And when he left, I think he was assigned to them, because they started, the minute the sky went red, as in the Quranic story goes, they gathered on the mountain, started getting scared, and started repenting. That was assigned to them themselves when he left. And assigned to him was when he realized, while he was still on the ship, and it's, I guess it's in the Quranic text and the Jewish as well, right? And certainly in the Christian biblical sense, that he was tested by God by going on a polytheistic ship, which challenged him to the lot of, picking out the, what are they called?
The lots.
The lots.
The short straw.
The short straws. And him as a prophet, he's not allowed to participate in things like that, because that's a polytheistic tradition. And he had to, because he was a traveler. So that was assigned to himself, and he started kind of gathering, okay, God's upset with me, And then he went into the whale. That was the final sign to him. Now he has to repent. So that was assigned to himself, but there's signs as we go along, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Just so you know, I went through the exercise of learning a bit about scriptural reasoning a few months ago with some of these people and Bill Danaher at Huron College, and my assessment was, oh my gosh, this will never fly in the public library. So I'm delighted to be proven wrong. I have no gift for prophecy whatsoever. And I want to thank all of you folks for coming tonight, for making this a real success. This is terrific. I'm sure you're pleased, Bill, and I want to thank all of you folks for coming tonight. Murray, thanks for showing up again tonight, and Bill, thanks for hosting us. A very pleasant evening, very stimulating, and I hope that you'll come back to this again sometime.
Thank you for watching today and being part of the Life and Faith family. Please join us again. And remember, you can always visit us on the web at lifeandfaith.ca. We do appreciate your support of local television programming. Have a wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.